Hey everyone, Rob Rendit here. I'm going to be answering a question for someone on the Unparenting Forum. You can find that at school.com/unparenting. Unparenting is kind of just a fancy word for becoming aware of all the conditioning we've had through our parents and through the generations that make us behave just like our parents. And so if my parents are watching, I'm not having a go at you. It's just what we want to do is not be conditioned as parents and to be completely open so that the kids can develop how they want to. Inevitably, because we have conditioning and programs that run us, they come out and then we were conditioned by our parents, and then we sound like our parents, and then we give those to our children, and then they continue the virus. So one of my most viral posts was when I said, something like a video that said, do this if you worry about becoming like your mother. So there's obviously something in this. So the question is from Valerie, and so what I'm going to do is try to give her some. She's her own authority. We must get away from subjugating to experts. So I'm just kind of like a finger pointing at something. So she wrote, having 3 children, I feel pulled in 3 different directions, especially this time of year. So I'm exhausted most of the time, and I think I rely on core behavior words. That's the conditioning I'm talking about. It just comes out when she's stressed, and then she says things, so deal with situation that made me sound like my mother. So those are the core conditioned behaviors and programs that run, they get triggered, and she doesn't want that. I hate hearing the words come out of my mouth, but it's not until later that I realize how I've dealt with the situation, because in the moment I'm tired and running on empty. So there's a little extra to her question was, so trying to gain more time with each child, but being pulled towards another to support them, making you lose time with others, letting them down, then using core behaviors, sounding like your mom, letting yourself down. So I haven't actually done this before. I normally do this with a client in person, but I'm just going to explain what I'm hearing. So this is Valerie, I spell it wrong. Valerie, and this is her hamster wheel. So a hamster wheel is a wheel that when the hamster steps onto that wheel, it starts to spin the other direction. So the hamster has to run faster and faster. The hamster wants to go this way. It wants the hamster wheel to go this way. It's running in that direction. That's what the hamster wants. But the hamster stands still until finally it flips back. It gets exhausted. So why do I talk about hamster wheel? What I'm talking about here is our mind, and the thinking that goes on in our mind always has an opposite, it's polarized. So what I hear Valerie saying is she's trying to gain, but she's losing. So what I heard with what she was saying is like, she wants to spend more time with her kids, each one, and she wants to be a great mother and give them a lot of, I'm going to use another word here, support. And the opposite of support is let down. Now, that might have been a bad idea actually, to write both programs. Let me take out the loss and gain. Bear with me, guys. Valerie used this quite a lot. So I'm trying to gain more time with each child, but being pulled towards the other to support them, making you lose time with the others. And I think letting down herself, her letting down the children, not being able to support is the biggest program that's coming up right now. So Valerie's glasses that she has on for parenting or anything in her life is she's a supporter. She likes to support and that enables her. She supports and she's valuable. I'm going to use another color here. She's valuable, valuable by giving support. That's one of her ways of giving love and receiving love is being supported. So valuable, you'll see why I put that here in a second. So she's looking at her kids and she's like, I need to support them, but I can't. I haven't got enough time in the day, and I'm tired. And then she flips over here. So she's trying to support, but she keeps flipping over here and feeling like a letdown. So she's bouncing between support and letdown. Okay. Her letting down her kids, or feeling like a letdown, or others letting down Valerie, and this goes for every human who's watching this, that's extremely painful. I'm going to use being a letdown. The emotions she's going to feel is disappointment, and it, like an extreme would be shamed, but she may not be thinking that. I'm just saying, like, the extreme of disappointment is ashamed. The energy over here, when she thinks about letting others down or being a letdown, that's going to drop her energy. It's inevitable. Letdown is letting down the energy. And the more she can support others, that gives her energy. However, this is a hamster wheel, remember. And I'm going to kind of have a little quick look at where this started. This is much more than her as a mother and her children. And this goes back to her trying to get her needs met and the needs of her children met by being valuable. So we know that this program that she's looking at her reality through is, I need to support. I'm not kind of getting supported enough. Maybe I'm not supporting my kids enough. I'm not supporting myself enough. Probably that's in there as well. So the energy is starting to drop down. The more it drops down, the more she feels let down. And so she starts to go back this way. And so the only way she can deal with this reality is, well, this is what's going to be happening based on many, many years of working with this. This is a pressure cooker. So when this gets too much, Valerie is going to look for pleasure to try and free herself from this hamster wheel. So that could be food, it could be alcohol, whatever a human will use. A distraction sometimes, sort of pleasure seeking, movies, because it's exhausting and there's no way out. There is a more extreme way out, which is suicide, but that's not the case here. I'm just saying that that's why people suicide, is because of the hamster wheel and they can't get out of it. So this stuff is critically important for our children, and for their self-esteem and for our own self-esteem, and to stop suffering. This is very important to understand. Now, what Valerie, her options are, oh, well, I need to support them more and go back into the hamster wheel, but she's just going to feel more of a letdown and letting them down. Like there's no way, using these glasses, to see this situation any other way. Okay, counterintuitively, the answer to this is, I mean, the Taoists knew this thousands of years ago, is non-doing. Krishnamurti would call this observation of self, or to free yourself from the mind, you have to observe the behavior. So what I would suggest that Valerie does is non-doing in the situation, because whenever she tries to support more, she's just going to energize the opposite. She's going to feed the shadow. So whenever she feels disappointment, probably anger, she'll be fearful. She'll be fearful she's letting her kids down. She'll be fearful that she's going to end up like she'll be like her mother and ruin her kids, and you know, all of this, fearful. She probably feels guilt, as most mothers do, that it's not good enough. This is programs that have been passed down through generations, religious programs, etc. Guilt, shame, fear, anger, guilt. She's going to be worried. So all of these, when she's looking at her children and her parenting, it's going to fire up, I need to support them more. I'm letting them down, or hope they're not going to feel like they're a letdown. Or hope I'm, you know, I feel like I'm letting myself down. If your glasses are orange, everything is orange. So everything that you would look through as a parent with this program running inside of you, the glasses, is going to look support and let down. And because it's a hamster wheel, there's no escape. And it causes suffering, and it causes you to let your kids down. It's inevitable. This is serious stuff. So let's say this is big Valerie, and when she feels these emotions, when she thinks she's letting down, when she reacts to the triggers of the programs, normally what she would do is go here and try and support them more, or try and support herself more. Or she'll be thinking about, how do I support them more and not let them down, yeah? She'll go back in the hamster wheel, but it's a trap. There's no solution. And her energy is just going to get lower and lower. And because this is a particularly, I would say, a mother thing, women can get diseases from this when the body starts to let them down. Gabor Mate called his book, When the Body Says No. Yeah, when the body lets down, because the mother, the woman feels like such a letdown that her body lets her down. So this is where disease starts in these deep operating system programs. So normally she would go back in here. Now, her program, this program that's running inside Valerie and in you, everyone has this. I have this. Anyone who says they don't have these programs running is in denial. Let's call this little Valerie. When little Valerie was born, there was a disconnect, and she didn't. Now, from her programming, I know that what she wants is connection, love, and belonging. Those are her three unmet needs. I can tell that because of the wording she's used. She wants her kids, she wants to connect with them, she wants to feel a belonging with them and loved. She wants them to feel that as well. When she doesn't feel like she's giving them that, she'll feel like she's letting them down. But what I would say is this: Valerie is looking for these, because of this program set up to try and get this, but it can never get it. Gain and support is trying to get these needs met, but it's a hamster wheel. Why is it glitchy? Why is it hamster wheel? Because it was created when she was one, when she was a baby. So she's done pretty well to create that program, but it's a 1-year-old still running. So when Valerie was born, there would have been a disconnect. So 1 and a 0, you're either full connection, love and belonging, or you don't have that. Western society, I haven't met anyone who's got it, to be honest. It's kind of, this is our biggest problem in the world, is this disconnection between the child and the mother and the father. So with that disconnect, that is classed as an abandonment by the baby. The baby feels abandoned. That might seem exaggerated, but the baby needs absolute connection, full connection all the time. If it's not there, it's like an abandonment. Things that are abandoned are worthless. So when Valerie was a baby, we can deduce that because she didn't feel that love, belonging, connection, she created this adaptation program to try and get the things that were unmet, the physiological needs of connection, love, and belonging. And she did that because they weren't there. She found another way to get them, is by supporting and being valuable by supporting, to try and feel those, but it's not working. That doesn't work. So she has a program running and she's trying to connect and love and belong with her kids, but she's using an old child program. How does she see this? She can see it whenever she feels any of these emotions. What she needs to do now is very simply go to little Valerie and pick her up, because all those emotions that she's feeling around the situation with her children is her programs running from her childhood with her mother and her parents and the conditioning that came. When she does that and reconnects with little Valerie and starts to do this on a regular basis, little Valerie, her inner child, will reconnect with her, will know and be certain and feel supported fully, will feel this, and then this program that Valerie's trapped in will dissolve. When that happens, the support and letdown will dissolve with her kids, and it will change them. It will change her relationship with them, and she won't have this constant worry about letting down. The letdown comes from Valerie feeling that she's a letdown, which started at birth. To be not a letdown, she created this pattern to go over here to be valuable, but it's a glitchy program created by a 1-year-old. If you act on that program, Valerie, or anyone, as a parent, as a mother or father, and you try and not let them down, and you try and do things to shape based on this program, you will just create new yous. This is a virus, and you'll pass it to your kids. In dissolving this virus, which was created when you were a baby, and reconnecting and stopping going there and starting going there, this dissolves, it changes everyone, it changes the family, and your family will have the greatest return on investment it could ever hope for, which is full connection, love and belonging. And when you have that, you don't have to, there's no letting down by your kids. Your kids will let you down with this program. It's kind of inevitable. But when you have that, you don't have to worry about your kids going crazy with social media and everything, because when your kids have full love, connection and belonging, they have a navigation system that's true. When your kids have this navigation system, they will find manipulation and untruths. How do we change that for our kids? We have to work on it ourselves. And that's why this work is called unparenting. Now, I hope that it seems really complex, but it's just really simple. When you feel the emotions that you're worrying around your kids in any way, you go to your little kid and dissolve the program. Otherwise, the virus will continue and the cycles of trauma will continue. This is the way to free yourself. And then finally, she wrote, yes, I feel like one child requires more of my time than the other two. So the other two tend to disappear into their room and do their own thing. When I have free time, I'm exhausted and don't have the energy to get them motivated and out of the house. So she feels like she's a letdown. She feels like she's letting them down, and that she's giving them a letdown life. Children learn from their parents, and I don't want them to copy my behavior. So beautifully written, Valerie. Thanks so much for the question. For them not to copy your behavior, you have to dissolve your behavior. The only way to change this behavior is via observation, compassionate observational understanding, which is real meditation. Meditation OS, observation of self. If you try and change it from within, you create monsters. You create exactly what you don't want. Letdowns. Okay, this is just the rules of the game. If you found that useful, I'd love to hear your comments on it. Press the like button and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. I teach this work in my school, which is called Meditation OS School, online, and I do 2 webinars a week where I teach everything to do with this base level programming and how to clear it, so that you have kids that flourish without your baggage, and I also teach how to connect with the energy and resolve things that your children are feeling or that you're experiencing, and be able to resolve all the emotions. So it's like a dematerialization of traditional Chinese medicine. So it's a great school. If you're interested, DM me. And if you would like me to answer a question about something that you have going on with your kids, I'll do that on the board. I love this work. So don't hesitate, and I'll pick the best questions, and I'll go through it on the board and do a video on it. Thanks so much, and have a great day.